Greetings from a very hot and sweaty Costa Rica. What I feel like sharing today is the power of anger. Those of you who have attended some workshops or trainings with me have probably gone on a little bit of an excavation already of these feelings. And just recently I've been reminded on how important the sensation, the fuel that anger is. And for most of us, there's a fear of anger, a mismanagement, a suppression, a denial, or a misuse, either inwardly imploding or exploding. I've been playing on the trapeze lately, on the flying trapeze, which is a whole different animal from a static trapeze. And, even just going up the ladder to the really high heights and standing on the platform and having to lean forward and to extend the hand out to grab that one heavy ring and to depend upon your own strength to hold yourself and then grab onto the other one. And then to let go. No matter how many times I was practicing it each day, I couldn't let that shaking anxiety that would envelop me, it wouldn't go away. And once I got more comfortable just swinging back and forth, when it became time to move on, to actually start to swing the legs, the knees over the bar, to actually start to play with doing flips, to actually swing and let someone else catch me, I found that I was blocking myself every single time. And it had nothing to do with my physical abilities whatsoever. I can madly play on a static trapeze in such a fun way. It had nothing to do with that. It was my own psychological and emotional blocking. And what I discovered was some of the tools that I had discovered first when learning how to walk across fire and not get burned. My mentor for fire walking was Tali Burkan, and he said, all of us need to find our signal. What is our way of knowing that it's time for us to walk? Because that's important. Maybe it's not time. But then, how do you know that you actually have your num, your life force, actually matching that of the fire so you don't get burned? For him, it was very visual. He saw Christ standing at the other side of the fire, and once Christ would just flip his wrist, he knew it was time to walk. For me, it wasn't that. For some people, it was more like just getting the energy generating so much, and when they felt it, they felt like they could just conquer the fire. That wasn't my way. I knew I needed to have a purpose in my walk, that I had to surrender to the fire to become that fire. And for me, the fire was also the power of love. This huge love that I was walking for different people, for different things in my life, mostly for others. And it would create this radiance that I haven't really felt elsewhere. And I could just walk. And there was one evening at night when we were walking through the longest walk I've ever been on. Maybe it was a 20-foot walk, and maybe even 30. And I was just walking, and I was in such a state that I could actually pick up the coals and let them just sprinkle down my arms, and I wasn't getting burnt. It was that powerful. I haven't been able to recreate that, but it was a good reminder of the kind of power that we have. We forget how powerful we are, right? So here I am, just a few days ago, like freaking out, blocking myself, chickening out anytime it's time for me to actually do the next trick. And along with having to go in and just to check in if all parts of me were lined up and ready, because, there was a little terrified part of myself. I had to go and hold its hand inside. That was kind of my one signal. I had to find what my power was. It wasn't cute. it wasn't chit-chatty. It wasn't cute whatsoever. It was funny because it was just me and a bunch of guys on the rig. And, as a woman, I've been trained on a personal and collective level to be a little flirtatious, to stay cute, to stay soft, that to be scared to be a little fierce, to be scared of my own aggression, my Kali nature. And yet that's what I needed in order to break through. And it was great because they were teasing me and I was starting to get riled up, and I had to ignore them, and I had to pull in that part of me, this sensation of anger. And it was that energy that actually helped me start to go smoothly, gracefully, to get back into the ninja mind, to call in my warrior. And that was just a metaphor, because for myself and for a lot of us, and if it's not happening to you right now, it's going to happen at some point in your life, I hope. Those moments when we're ready to expand, when we're ready to break into the next edge. The edge is not comfortable. It's not fun. And it's so tempting to bail. Think about those times when we've got addictions and habit patterns that aren't working. It's not easy to step out of it. We have to have something greater, a greater vision that we're stepping forwards in order to actually make that happen. And to also ride the discomfort. Because once you can start to track the familiarity of those sensations, they no longer start to control or eat you alive. And it's that fierceness that we have, that anger, which in a way is almost that integrity. The moment that we get angry is usually because some part of our integrity has actually been jeopardized. Some boundary's been crossed. And when we're that honest with the rawness of our sensations, there's this current that runs through us. It's yellow, it's red, it's fierce, it's fire. It's our fire, and it can burn through the bullshit. And that's what we need when we're making change. Because when we're really starting to go after our dreams, and I'll just say on a personal level, I had to call myself out on where I was not following my dreams. All those little old insecurities, all those things that we've carefully hidden, they start to rise up. And we have to become friendly. We need to start to recognize them. And it's that fire, that potency inside of us that can start to see clearly and to not let those old patterns continue to run the show. So I'm sharing this if you feel stuck, because I've encountered a few of my clients over the past few months who are like, I want to do this, and then I keep watching them just slide backwards. To know that just naming it, though that's so important, it is hard work of really honoring who you truly are, of cleaning out our internal closets and drawers, to harness that deeper power so that when we start to get terrified, when we start to self-sabotage, because we can't suppress anything, that we use our power as a way to transform. Power, our inner fire. So this is my invitation to you. Namaste from the jungle.